talented Michelle Cummins for the Cummins Real Estate Group Show. How are you doing, Michelle?
Good morning, Curtis. I'm very good. How are you doing?
I am doing excellent. Now, I know that you're really excited for today's show because I know you are all about statistics.
I do love my stats,
You do?
You know me well.
You must have been a baseball fan growing up.
Oh, totally.
Because there's no sport with more stats than baseball.
Baseball. I love baseball. I love watching it. I love playing it. I love the history of it. I love everything about it.
How American of you.
But I'm not a good pitcher. I'm a better goalie, or, I've played different, but I've tried pitching one game. No, that's not for me.
Okay, well, we'll know that if we ever have a softball game, we'll put you out in the outfield somewhere.
Yeah, I fire and then I aim. So, where the ball goes, who knows, right?
Oh, good to know. But there is, if you love stats, that's a sport for you. But I guess equally, real estate is a great game for you if you love stats.
And did you know the stat of our show is now episode 88?
I did not know that.
We're getting closer. I keep on saying we're so close to episode 100.
So we're like 3 months away.
We're going to have a great 100th episode. But yes, 88. 88. The 8 is like forever love. It's like it never ends, right? It's connected forever, and you can just keep on going without, I like the number 8.
Yeah, and you turn an 8 sideways, it becomes the infinity symbol, and that does go on, forever.
Forever and ever and ever. Oh, so my goals. What were your goals this month?
My goals this month?
Yes.
Well, my goal this month was easy. It was to get on my vacation, which I had, and I came back last Saturday, and here we are.
I knew you were going to say that. That is a good goal. Many have said vacations are very important for us, for our souls, for our attitude, for our health, for everything. It's really important to breathe, look at your life, everything.
It's funny you should mention it because actually we had some fun and silly little goals even on our vacation. Like when my wife found out that Dr. Bonnie Henry had a winery, and she said we have to stop there. So we did. We made an appointment. We stopped in there, and the wine was amazing. And we were on the fence. Do we rent a boat? And I said, yeah, let's rent a boat and get on the lake on one of the hotter days. We did that. So it's important to even have these kind of goals when you're on vacation.
Totally. And fulfill them and enjoy it and live 100% that you can. That's awesome. So many memories, right?
Absolutely. Even if the wine does make some of them a little foggy.
My goal this month wasn't as fun and as adventurous as yours, but it was to finish my closet that hasn't been done in 2 years and my library space. And I have to say I haven't yet fulfilled those 2 goals, but I plan on it, and I hope to have it done soon. And, I have, though, Richard and I have fixed our tree house. It burnt because the winds and the hydro lines broke, and the hydro lines went into our tree, and it sparked. And in the middle of the night, 4 a.m., woke up to our tree house burnt to a crisp, on fire. So, anyways, we've rebuilt that. So that is the goal. That's been done, and a couple other things. But I got a couple to do in my closet, and so I could wear more clothes than the 5 outfits I continually scroll through because everything's still in my boxes. But I've got 2 weeks left, so I have some time to do it. And my personal blog actually is now keeping me accountable because I started it a couple months ago, and July 1st blog mentioned my goals of finishing it. And so it's on my business blog. I just once a month, on the first of every month, I've decided I'm going to start sharing, the life of a full-time devoted realtor, what it's like behind the scenes of my life, my personal life. So August 1st is my next one, and that is actually my anniversary, my 22-year anniversary. I can't believe it's been 22 years. And so I'm going to write another blog that morning. I'm going to spend the time maybe with some Irish cream coffee or samosas or not samosas. What do you call it?
Mimosas.
Mimosas.
But a samosa's good too.
They're both good. Either one works for me.
Maybe some samosas with a mimosa.
Why not?
Then you're covered. Well, so 22 years. Maybe you and I should actually do an episode where we don't talk real estate and we talk about marriage tips, because I just celebrated 20 years of marriage with my wife.
Ooh, okay. Why don't we do that?
Because I don't. You need Kelly, because I don't have a clue how I've made it this far.
Kelly has to be on and Richard has to be on, and we'll do like a 4-person episode for that anniversary episode.
And that might be the last anniversary if we have me and Richard on together talking about it.
Oh my gosh, that'll be fun. Maybe we'll do that for the 100th year or the 100th episode.
There we go.
The 100th year.
100th year. Now we're talking.
Oh,
that's still about 98 years away, Michelle.
Oh, I'm excited because in a couple of weeks, I am doing this whole Craig Brew Crew, and Craig is short for Cummins Real Estate Group. But I do this annual thing for my employees, and we have a great time out. And last year it was the winery tour here in the Fraser Valley because we have so many amazing wineries, but we have so many amazing breweries. It's crazy. Craft beer has taken off, and there's so many. It would take every year for a few years to just do them all. But we're going to do about 6 or so on actually the day before I do my blog, which is my birthday. We're going to go out and have some fun, and so it's going to be a blast. So I'm looking forward to that. That
does sound like it'll be a good time for sure. Now, a good time as well, of course, is the June stats. So what have we got with these June stats?
Property sales in the Fraser Valley have more than doubled in the month as buyers have returned to the market. So the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board processed a total of 1,718 sales on its MLS service in June. That's an increase of 113% compared to sales in May, and an increase of 32% compared to the 1,306 sales during June of last year. So it's been crazy busy last month, this month too. It's due to a combination of factors, so obviously very low interest rates and pent-up demand from the previous 3 months that the market was practically on hold. And, of course, CMHC rules have changed July 1st, and so that helped a lot of June. But really, the other two insurers didn't follow suit, so it didn't make too much of an impact. But it has just been there's not enough product. There's still not enough product out there. So the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board received, though, 3,456 new listings in June. That's a 57% increase compared to May's intake, which was 2,207 new listings, and 23% increase compared to June of last year. So even though we have a lot more listings, we still don't have enough for the buyers that are out there. There's just so many buyers. So in June, the average number of days to sell a condo was 37 days. It was 30 days for townhouses and 31 for single-family detached homes. Single-family detached benchmark prices overall in the Fraser Valley are at $994,500. So the benchmark price for single-family detached in the Fraser Valley increased 0.4% compared to May and increased 3.6% compared to June of last year. Townhouses are benchmark price at $559,600, and that benchmark price for townhomes in the Fraser Valley increased 0.8% compared to May and increased 1.9% compared to last year's June. And condos are at $435,300, and that benchmark price for condos have increased 0.4% compared to May and increased 3.3% compared to June of last year. So it is jumped into a seller's market. Like it just literally just skyrocketed into a seller's market in June. So let's go municipality by municipality. So Abbotsford, detached for Abbotsford benchmark price is at $821,500. That's increased 1.7% from month over month. But last year, it's just minus 0.7%. Townhouses in Abbotsford are at $456,100, and that's minus 0.2% from last year, but 0.5% higher than the last month. Apartments and condos are at $322,000, which has raised 3.1% year over year and 2.5% month over month. So condos have been doing good in Abbotsford. Mission benchmark prices for detached are at $686,900. That's an increase of 4.9% year over year and an increase of 1.7% for month over month. Townhouses in Mission are at $465,000. That's 2.9% year over year and 0.3% higher month over month. And condos for Mission are at $352,300. That's 0.3% higher than last year and 0.9% higher than the month before. And last municipality is Langley. benchmark price is at $1,044,200, and that is at 6.3% higher than last year and 1.6% higher than last month. Townhouses in Langley, $574,400. That is raised 3.1% from last year and 0.9% from May. And condos in Langley, $398,700, raised 1.7% from last year and actually down 1% from May. So that is our, let's just, sorry. Surrey's benchmark price for detached, $1,089,500. It's gone up 3.1% year over year and 0.2% from May. And townhouses are at $583,600, up 2.1% from last year and up 0.9% from May. And condos, $400,500 in Surrey. That's up 4.6% from last year and 0.3% from May. So if you want these stats, of course, you can find them on my website at michellecummins.ca, or you can actually find them on my blog as well there, or on the homepage. But I have a video update as well on my YouTube, and if you want specific details for sub-areas or specific areas, just reach out to me, and I'm happy to give you your specific stats for your area and give you all that information.
All right. Well, with that, I think we'll take a break. We'll be back with more right after this. We are back with segment number 2 of the Cummins Real Estate Group show with our real estate superstar, Michelle Cummins, and myself, Curtis Pope. Now, we want to talk a little bit about investing, I understand, this week.
Well, I figure it goes with the flow of our shows. We've been talking about development. We've been talking about land assemblies. You know, real estate is so multifaceted. There's so much to it, and it's so exciting. So, and my slogan of unlocking your real estate potential, I'm an investor myself, and so I wanted to bring to the show a little bit about investor talk and some terminology and what it means.
Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, it's always interesting, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, what have we got for if people want to invest right now? What's their best route? Would you say?
That is a good question. There is so many questions I have for anybody who says they want to invest. It starts, of course, with your own primary residence, but there is a list of questions because an investor, you don't want to jump into this huge projects if you don't know yet, right? So there's a lot of learning curves, terminology, things you should know. So first, I want to talk about, let's start with terminology. So what's passive income? What's a passive investment? What does ROI mean to an investor? What is capital cost? What's the capital rate? What does that mean? Cap rate. Syndication. What does syndication mean? And how could you be part of that or create it? So these are some of the terminology of being an investor that you should know. There's some great books out there. There's some great podcasts out there. But let's give you some tips. So, and if you're an agent, like a realtor listening, then I would suggest you become an investor so you can help your clients invest themselves. Because there's so many realtors out there, but less than 1% actually invest themselves. So it really helps to know how to share and how to give service to clients. And really, you got to know it. You got to know what you're talking about. You got to have lived it. So it's really important to do that. So as an investor myself, owning 9 properties currently and moving towards investing in more, my next is syndication, maybe mobile home parks, maybe storage facilities. There's a lot of great investments in real estate. Commercial is great. Single family. It really depends on what you have moving forward, what you want to do, what your outcome is, how long of an investor you plan on being. It's part and parcel to talk about it with your financial advisor as well. So I say align yourself with professionals every single time. Professional advice is so important, and I can't talk enough about that because the best deals, too, are represented by professionals. When it comes to real estate investments, a lot of the time they are not on the MLS system. They're actually pocket listings. They're properties that aren't even on the market yet. But realtors who are in the know, they have these deals. So it's very relationships. So it's the relationships that agents have between each other that helps them find you hidden gems and unlisted properties and opportunities. It's the 80-20 rule. The 80% of properties are sold by the 20% of agents out there. they network with each other. They're in deals together. They know both sides have to win. They've established themselves. They have way more than 10,000 hours in. Like, they know their stuff, and they have relationships, and they've built them up through the years with realtors, other agents, but as well as the owners of these properties and these opportunities. So the best transactions are where everyone leaves the transaction high-fiving and loving their deal and gaining more relationships. There's a better way, because it's a long-term business if you want to be an investor, and it's a small world. So it truly is for investors to be loyal. It's so important. My tip number one is being loyal. Loyalty is very important to get the best deals, the best opportunities, and the best professional advice. Have loyalty to one agent in the area. You may be an investor looking at multiple areas across Canada, across BC, maybe, internationally. So you may have multiple agents in multiple areas, but for every different area, definitely be loyal to that agent. To one agent. If you're loyal to them, they will be loyal to you, client and agent. If you're using multiple agents for the same investment area, then you will not get the best opportunities and you won't get their full attention. The faith and trust that you put into each other is very important, more than just cooperation. It's more than that. So realtors have hundreds of people saying, I got people every day saying, Michelle, if you find a property like this, let me know. But there's no commitment. They're also asking multiple other agents the same thing. They're just asking everyone and their dog and cat to tell them of any opportunities. But there's only so many hours in the day, and realtors aren't going to devote it to those who are just, throwing out there, hey, keep an eye out for me. No, they're going to work and put their time in to the clients that have devoted to them and have loyalty to them, because that's their job, is to work for those clients and their needs and for your share duties. So if you haven't committed to them, then they definitely won't commit to you. So don't think they're going to be out there working for you, because they're not. So tip number 2, commercial and residential investment. So there's lots of different types of real estate investments. Just don't think there's only one type, but there's multiple. And when and where of what type you buy is important to know. And again, professional advice. Ask your agent if they're members of their local boards for both for both commercial and residential, because as well, there may be realtors who are really great with residential investment properties and opportunities, but they're not so good with commercial, and vice versa. So I'm actually a member of both commercial and residential for the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board, and I've done that practically since I've been doing this, since 2003. So, but some people aren't. They're very, very specific to one type. So make sure you ask your agent and make sure you've got the best representative working on your behalf for the type of investment you want. Tip number 3, you're allowed up to 2 insured mortgages for only 5% down. So use it to your advantage. If you, let's say, have your primary residence of 5% down, well, make sure your next one is also 5% down. Lend. The interest rates are so low right now. This is the time to capitalize on that. And even if you have more than, 5% to put down, stretch your money farther, invest in more quicker, and you'll win out at the end of the day. So definitely do that, I suggest. Tip number 4. Don't feel you have to do so much. As I mentioned before, start small and build from there. Start with your primary residence, and then after, let's say you're on a 5-year term, maybe you want to be flexible nowadays with the interest rates the way they have been in like over 2 decades, but you may have to be on a term, or you may want to refinance in a few years. Maybe you've built some equity in your home as you've been paying down your mortgage and paying off your monthly amount, and you remortgage and you have a good chunk to put down. Now you can have your second property. So if you put sweat equity into your property and then remortgage it, you've got a good chunk of money there you should have in a few years. So maybe the first investment after your primary residence is a vacation property, so that you can make money and enjoy it yourself. And then maybe your third investment is a single family rental unit, maybe a new strata, because you're always protected against changes in the rules if they limit the restrictions. Plus, there's always the 10-year warranty, so maybe it's a new strata, or maybe a detached, because, you're like land, earth, terra. I want to invest in terra, because because God isn't making any more of it. And maybe that's where you want to go, and that's great because detached homes definitely improve and raise their value quicker than strata, mostly in our area. But if you're okay with the upkeep, that is right. So then maybe it's a duplex or triplex or fourplex. Then maybe a commercial building or unit after that, or industrial. Maybe it's storage facilities, like I'm kind of looking at possibly right now, or mobile home parks. So, or maybe syndication, multifamily. So keep your finger on the pulse. Don't make an emotional decision. That's a big one there, is don't make an emotional decision. Make it based on stats, which I love, and proven results, right? So back to terminology, and I wanted to talk about passive investing. So that's the terminology for investors, passive. So let somebody else do the work. That's pretty much what it means. You're letting somebody else do the work for you. You're letting somebody else do the syndication to get your money to work stronger and faster and harder for you. In essence, you don't have to do anything but bring the money. Somebody else manages it. Somebody else brings you the deal. Somebody else does everything, all the pro formas and everything. You are just investing your money, and that's why it's passive. And syndication. So we talked about that a little bit. So real estate syndication is the process by which investors pool their capital resources and expertise to invest in real estate projects that would be too capital intensive or complicated for an individual investor. So syndication is just multiple investors putting their money into a project that then they are able to have more security, a better rate of return, bigger opportunities. It's a great way of investing. And then there's ROI. So what does that mean? Well, it means rate of return. So it's the net gain or loss of an investment over a specific time period expressed as a percentage of the investment's initial cost. When calculating the rate of return, you are determining the percentage change from the beginning of the period until the end. So that's very important to know. What is the rate of return? And then it's the cap rate. Oh, everyone's always hearing about what's the cap rate, and it's different in Vancouver than it is in Fraser Valley, than it is in other areas. So the capitalization rate, also known as cap rate, is used in the world of commercial real estate to indicate the rate of return that is expected to be generated on a real estate investment property. So it's used to estimate the investor's potential return on their investment in the real estate market. There's some great cap rate calculators online that you can find that you punch in all the information they ask for, and it shoots out to you what the cap rate is. Your purchase price of this amount, and, what's the rent coming in, what's the cost of running it, right down to the insurance, to everything. It's great. So that's really important to know what the cap rate is. And then there's sweat equity. So sweat equity is the unpaid laborer, so that you are doing the work yourself. So cash-strapped entrepreneurs, can do a lot of sweat equity. Homeowners and real estate investors can use it to do repairs and maintenance on their own rather than pay for traditional labor, because it can be so expensive. So this is really good if you want to do this to remortgage your property, to repurpose it for higher rents, or mortgage on a new investment for purchase plus improvement. So if you get a mortgage or if you're purchasing a new property and you're like, oh, this, you're getting something that needs a lot of improvement, you can get a mortgage plus improvements. And if you put all the sweat equity or a lot of it in yourself, then you will be able to pocket that extra money that you've just gained by improving the property. Plus, you can get higher rents. So side note that some might not know is that now you can give tenants notice, again, for any reason other than not paying rent. So that's the only reason you can't give them notice, according, of course, to the BC Tenancy Act law. So look into the Act law of what and how you can give tenants notice. But for all the reasons you can now, after we're in this phase, what we're in after COVID, is that the only reason you can't is the not paying rent. So look into that. So if you want to do like a full renovation of a project and you're buying something that has a tenant in it, yes, you and the seller can give them notice to vacate upon you taking possession, putting that sweat equity in, building that, being able to ask for a higher rent and then re-put it on the market for that higher rent. So that's really good to know. Your first real estate investment is your own primary residence. I always say that, especially while we've had record low interest rates again. So why not use that to start the building blocks and start building your real estate portfolio? So as a realtor who's an investor, I give most loyal clients opportunities that aren't live to the public, as any realtor would do, obviously. So because, they've shown loyalty to me as their agent and they're really good clients.
So loyalty pays off is what you're saying.
It really does. It really does in everything in life, right? But so lots of buyers out there. I'm working with more buyers now than ever. It's crazy. That's proof. So the stats in the first segment show that we were in a seller's market. It just shot back up into the seller's market. And it's crazy how many buyers are out there and not, even though there's more listings than there were even last year, there's still not enough. More buyers than listings. So.
Well, we're coming to the end of our time here. Do you have one of your world famous quotes?
Well, actually, I do. Thank you. And I have a coming up listing, too, I wanted to mention at off Millstone Court in Abbotsford. So keep an eye on that, probably coming up on August 1st. It's a pretty fantastic property with backing onto a stream and green space. It's amazing. And in the Real Estate Weekly paper on the front cover, next Friday or Thursday when it comes out, my new listing hit the market yesterday at 2174 Dolphin Crescent in Abbotsford. Amazing rancher with full walkout basement, private yard. It's fantastic, renovated. It's gorgeous. So that's coming up. Keep an eye on the Real Estate Weekly front cover on that. And my quote of the week is from C.S. Lewis, an amazing man. You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending.
Oh, how true is that?
So I hope that encourages everyone.
Very, very cool. All right, Michelle, if people want more information on the various things we've talked about today, what can they do?
MichelleCummins.ca.
And tune in again next week when we will talk more real estate in order to unlock your real estate potential on a show where real estate